What does it mean to be in a democracy?
What can you achieve with this?
How am I as an individual contributing to that?
All elements of society can benefit from the input and the contribution that our young people are going to make in the future.
Young people are going to have to shape their own destinies through action.
These individuals are the leaders of this country.
I don't believe that we're leaders of tomorrow or the future. We're leaders of today.
Sawip is a leadership development program for South African youths who show promise as leaders.
It's informed and by the philosophy of the servant leader.
Sawip, first and foremost, is a family.
It's not something you see immediately.
Think of it as almost a catalyst for everything that came after.
We identify individuals we think will play an important role in the transformation of South Africa and the deepening of its democracy.
Everyone brings a very different skill set to the table.
It forces you in a way to be innovative.
To be able to change someone's life.
Students who've come through this program, by the time they graduate, their minds are already stretched.
It gives you a sense of responsibility.
A sense of team leadership.
They can bring tremendous value to any organization they're with because of their diligent, brilliant, and all that sort of thing, but they also have a perspective that I think is increasingly needed in the corporate sector.
It was like a little incubator of young leaders
who have a heart for transforming communities.
You know, these are young people that are making it.
You see them blossoming from the moment they apply, when you read their stories.
It is important that they have shown, both at university and within the community, their ability to provide leadership.
You have to have a vision for yourself as playing a role in bringing about positive change in our country through your own talents.
They do not select a group of amazing individuals, but they go on to select a group of people that will formulate a team.
So that you don't necessarily have one chief, but you have many chiefs who work well together.
Students do speech writing, speech presentation, because obviously leaders need to be able to present themselves and speak with confidence. A lot of skills are built around the project cycle and how do you build a project around needs that have been identified. How do you engage according to best practice with communities that you are trying to assist. So a lot of the skill building is around the community projects.
I think a very important and very enriching part of Sawip is the fact that for 6 weeks of the 7-month whole curriculum, you do spend your time in Washington, D.C.
I think it's a culture in that city that is very conducive to learning, very conducive to internship type activities.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for networking.
I came to meet a lot of people who had different views on how to change the world.
You engage with a wide variety of influential people.
People were actually taking note of the South African journey from where we moved from sort of a conflict society to a post-conflict society.
We met Congressman John Lewis, which is an opportunity which I would have not have had I not been selected for this program.
They're so busy for the 6-week period, it's hard to imagine how they do all of this.
And by the time they come back to do their phase 2, which involves community engagement, you now see that you're meeting like a different person.
After the exposure and meeting people who are really very much like, well, what can you give me? Then I realized it's a give and take. It's not just one taken from the other. And I think if leadership goes that way, we can do a lot more, a lot faster.
We have a relatively small group of candidates at this point. We would obviously love to grow it.
This type of development and student leadership program is expensive. And if you're not careful, you can exclude the very people that need the growth the most.
And giving them the capabilities to excel even more than they are right now.
And when you open opportunities to them, they grab them and they embrace the opportunities very, very seriously. And funding will allow us to do more and more.
And so the corporate sector, which is obviously another sector we certainly seek funding and as well as internships from. And we have obviously found many wonderfully generous individuals and organizations, we need more, and that's a constant challenge for almost any NGO, of course.
There is much to be gained from partnering with Sawip and for being a sponsor of the program and of these exceptional young people.
Young South Africans, or young people at least, from any young democracy, really need to go through something like this in order to foster engagement with democracy.
It really accelerated the hope that I have for change and for actually doing something about it as a young person.
You get reminded that, you know, you are somebody and that you are meant to care for people, to love people.
I know that I've got a long way to go, and there's a lot that I'm gonna do. Changing South Africa somehow, but I always have to stay humble, and I always have to pay it forward.